welcome back to our channel. So in today's session we'll discuss about one more concept in the data structures using Python, that is a queue implementation using a list. So in our previous session we have discussed about the stack implementation. So either stack or a queue that can be implemented in two ways. One is by using the list concept, another one is by using the linked list concept. So now we will see the queue implementation using list concept. Using list. Right? So we have discussed about this list concept in our previous sessions. So I'll post the link in the description to just go through that one. So list is a sequence of elements of different data types enclosed in a square braces, and this list is having a different methods in order to insert the elements, in order to delete the elements. We are having different methods and functions. All the things we have covered in the previous sessions. So by using that concept, we have to implement the queue. First, we have to know what is a queue and what are the different operations that can be performed on a queue. Right? So a queue is called as a first in, first out. First in, first out. Okay. So the best example is standing in a queue for a ticket reservation. Standing in a queue to step into the bus or a train. So who stood first, the person will be coming out. Right? So the first in, first out. So standing in a line, the person standing in a line comes with comes as an example for this particular queue. So here the operations of this queue, the first one we call it as a NQ. NQ. So NQ means insertion. NQ means insertion. And one more operation, DQ. DQ. So DQ means deletion. Deletion. So here the insertion will be done on rear end. Rear end. Deletion will be done on front end. So here we call it as a first in, first out. So whatever the element is inserted first, that should be comes out first. So that's why front end is a deletion, rear end is the insertion. Example, so this is the representation for a queue. So if you insert a 10 first, the 10 will be here, and next 20, next 30, next 40, 50. So this will be the front because 10 is inserted first among all these elements, and this will be the rear. So whatever the element we are inserting, that will be added in this place. So here the insertion will be done, and from here the deletion will be done. So if you want to delete an element, 10 should be deleted first because 10 was inserted first among all these elements. After 10, the front will be pointing towards 20. So if you are deleting the element, 20 should be deleted after deletion of 10. Right? So these are the two different operations that can be performed on queue. That means insertion and deletion. So here we are using the list concept. We are using the list concept. So for insertion, we have one method called append method. So append method will insert the element at the end. Okay, append method will insert the element at the end of the list. So directly we can use this append to insert the elements. And in order to deletion, for the deletion we can use del command of 0th index. Del command of 0th index, or you can also use a pop command with the index 0. Pop command with the index 0. So index 0 means this one. Okay, index 0 means the first element. So in the list the first element will be get deleted. And pop 1, pop 0 means here also it will delete the element. It will delete the element. Right? So here before inserting the element, we need to check whether there are elements or not. Okay, whether there are elements or not. So if there are no elements, we can simply say that, so if front, or simply you can check the length of q is equal to 0, print q is empty. So simply, if the length of q is equal to 0, that means no elements are there in the q. That implies, so q is empty. If there are number of elements, simply you can use a for loop, okay, for element in list, that means a q. So you can print the element here, So automatically, whatever the elements that are available in the queue, that will be printed on the screen. So that will write in the function, right? Display function. And also the front should be point towards zeroth index, and rear should be pointed the last element. So last element index, we know that in the list concept, in the sequence data structures, so the last element index value can be represented as a -1. Last element index value can be represented as a -1. So here we are having a provision of working with the positive indexes and the negative indexes. So positive index means from the first element, negative index means from the last element. So always -1 points at the last element, right? Index of the last element. So automatically rear should be -1. Rear should be pointing towards the index -1. That means it will point to the last element, right? So just we are applying all these things, and we can write down the menu as we have discussed in our previous stack. We have implemented the previous data structure, that is a stack. So we have taken different options, like 1 is for push, and 2 is for pop, and 3 is for display, and 4 is for exit, right? So like this we have created one menu, and if the user prompts for 1, so it will ask the user to insert the element, and if the user enters the pop function, automatically the control will delete the first element, because the deletion will be done from the front itself, right? So deletion will be done, and 3, as usual, it will display all the elements of the queue, and 4 for exit from the program, right? So similarly here also we are writing the menu. So 1 is for NQ, so which is for insertion, 2 is for DQ, which is from deletion, 3 for display, in order to display all the elements of a queue, and 4 for exit, to exit from the program. Now let's stop here. Hope you understood these operations NQ and DQ, that means insertion and deletion, right? So we'll move on to the interpreter, and I will show you the execution, right? So let's move on to the computer. Hello friends, so just now we have seen the theoretical part of queue using list concept. So now I'll execute the program. So first let us write the menu as we have discussed just now. So first I'll declare a queue with a empty list, so that means a list function. And now, so I'll repeat the loop. Okay, so while 1 or while 2, you can use anything, and just print the menu, enter the option from below, right? So /n, which gives the next line, and 1 for NQ operation, and next second one for DQ operation, next third one for display, and fourth one exit, right? Now we need to take the input. we need to take the input. So let us take it as option, right? Option is equal to, so int of input, so it will prompt for the input, right? So now we have to compare. So if option is equal to 1, so we need to call the enq operation, enq operation, right? And call the function, simply use a call, function call enq, it's a function call, right? And again, elif, one more condition, if option is equal to 2, what we have to do, so we have to call deq operation, and call the function deq, and we need to write the function definitions, right? So first I am writing all the menu, and again elif, if option is equal to 3, simply print display, and function, write down the function display, else, that means any other number other than 1, 2, 3, simply you can go with a break, right? Now we need to write the functions. Okay, we need to write the functions. See, first let us start with the enq operation. So def enq, right? What's the enq operation? So we need to read, that means enq means a insert operation. So we need to insert the element. First we have to read the element, then we have to insert. So n is equal to, so int of input, enter the element to be inserted into queue. So automatically it will prompt for the input. So once it was done, so call the function append function. In order to insert, simply you can use a append function, right? So append function, that is a q dot append of n. And this append function always appends the value at the end of the list. Next, deletion, deq, that means a deletion. So here the deletion can be done only if the queue is having any elements. So here, before applying the deletion, we need to check whether the queue is empty or not empty, right? For that purpose, we can go with the if length of queue is equal to 0. That implies, so you can write it here, queue is empty, right? So once again, just give this one print to give extra line, and here, sorry, else, that means if the length is not equal to 0, at least it is having any one, okay, at least it is having any one operation, so any one element, simply what we have to do, we have to delete the first one, so first one means the index is 0, okay, index is 0. So print, let us take a q of 0 is the element deleted from Q. Now we need to use a functions like a pop function or a del command. So go with the del command, del Q of 0. Automatically it will be deleted, and simply use a print so that an extra line will be printed, right? That's only. So here we are checking two cases. One is if the length is 0, we are just telling Q is empty. If it is not 0, just deleting the 0th index element, because the deletion will be done from the front end itself. Okay, now write on the display, the third one. So display function. So in the display, just here also we need to check the two cases. One is if the queue is empty, just we want to display the statement that Q is empty, right? So Q is equal to 0, print Q is empty, else what we have to do, we need to print each and every element by using some iteration, right? So because it's a list, so elements of the queue are, go with the iterative statements. So for element in queue, print element, right? And also you can use here end is equal to so and so, and then print the front and rear, right? Print front of the queue is, what is the front? Q of 0. Print rear of the queue is Q of 1, sorry, minus 1, right? Again here also you just go with the empty print so that it will be clear, right? And here also go with the empty print. Yes, so you can execute. So the options are below. So if you want to insert the element, now there are no elements, right? So if you try to display the one, so we'll get, see, Q is empty. Okay, we are getting Q is empty. So here you can use this one. See, just wait. Yes. See, 1, enter the element to be inserted into queue. I'll go with the 10, and again it will it is asking for operations. Again I will go with the first, I need to insert 20. Again 1, I want to insert 30. Again 1, I want to insert 40. Now just go with the 3 display. So you can observe, so elements of the queue are 10, 20, 30, 40. Front of the queue is 10 and rear of the queue is 40. So here you can use a /n so that yes. So here you can observe. So 1, so I'll go with the 10, 1, I'll go with the 20, 1, I'll go with the 30, 1, I'll go with the 40, and now 3. So elements of the queue are, so 10, 20, 30, 40. The front of the queue is 10 and the rear of the queue is 40. Now if you go with the 2, what we have to do, the deletion should be done from the front end, right? So DQ operation. So 10 is the element deleted from queue. So if you, from the given queue, 10 is the element deleted from a queue, and now if you display here, you can observe the elements of the queue are 20, 30, 40. Now front of the queue is 20 and rear of the queue is 40, right? And if you are inserting one more element 50, the insertion will be done from at the rear end. So you can observe 50 and display, you can see 20, 30, 40 and 50. Insertion is done on the rear end. Now rear of the queue is 50. That means it points towards the last element, and front is 20. So if you go with the DQ, the first element will be deleted, that is 20 is deleted from the queue. That means the front end, from front the queue, the element will be deleted, right? And see, now if you display the list, I mean display the queue, 30, 40, 50 are the elements available in the queue. 30 will be the front and 50 will be the rear. And if you want to stop the program, just go with the 4, automatically it will exit from the program. It will exit from the program, right? So hope you understood this implementation of queue using list in Python. So this is a very simple. Okay, so hope you understood, and if you are having any doubts regarding this program, or operations, feel free to post your doubts in the comment section. Definitely I will try to clarify all your doubts. If you really enjoyed my session, like my session, share my session with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.